cuz. Get rid of that. Welcome to Talkman Radio Show Live. I'm your host. I am Talkman. You call me John, call me Talkman, just call me whatever you want. We're here to talk about fantasy football, though. That's what the whole show is about. In case you didn't know. In case you're just flipping through the dials. They don't even have dials anymore. That's how old I am. That's how long I've been doing this. Fantasy football. The show's only been around a little bit. So, like I said, welcome to the show. 12 Ounce Sports. There they are. There they are right there. Look at that. Look at them. Gotta say thanks a lot. 12 Ounce Sports. 12 Ounce Sports for having me here. 12 Ounce Sports. 12 Ounce Sports Radio.com. Don't forget about those guys. You can catch them online. My hand don't work like it used to too much of this when I was young. Now I'm like this. How long have we been in the show? A minute? We're already doing it. 12OunceSportsRadio.com. Gotta love those guys. 12 Ounce Sports Radio. If you want to check out all your favorite sports guys that you hear on 12 Ounce Sports. Here they are right here. You can go check out. We know you're listening. We know you got your faves. Check out any articles that they're writing here. Or check out if they have a special show coming up. Not that if you're not following, you won't know, but you know what I mean. Come here. Help us out here at 12OunceSportsRadio.com. And as always, you can always check out the merch. Go check out the merch. There's always merch out there for 12 Ounce Sports. And don't forget, Talkman Radio, as you can see right below. Talkman Radio, the Talkman Radio Show Live is here every Friday at 6 p.m. I tell you every week. Eastern, streaming on 12 Ounce Sports. Subscribe to YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for 12 Ounce Sports. But for Talkman Radio, it's a little different. I got, Talkman Radio. We do have a YouTube channel for as long as we have it. But we're also on Parler, Odyssey, and friend us on MeWe. Those are all the alternatives to what 12 Ounce Sports is on, and pretty much everybody else. So we're trying to go the other way. We thought we were going to go this way, we're going that way. That's how we're doing it. That's how we're going to do this whole fantasy football thing. It's not like it wouldn't be a Friday show without the Deshaun Watson news. But just so I get it out of the way, the two most recent news stories that could have impact, I don't think they're going to work. And there's no, we don't know anything about him yet. Deshaun Watson, another bunch of people said, no, we're not going to indict this guy, so he's probably going to play next year, but he's still going to get suspended, they said, by the NFL. So, as the season gets closer, we'll figure that out. See what the suspension, how long the suspension is, and then we will alternate our draft strategy around that for him, if there is one for him. We'll see. Also, the Tom Brady news. Tom Brady in Miami. I don't know. I don't know about all that. Does he really want to go back and play Bill Belichick twice just to get at him? I think he's going to stay in Tampa Bay, and that's where he's going to play this year. There's no going this way or going that way. It's all just rumors, so I'm not getting into that. So I'm not going to talk about where his fantasy value would be if he was traded to Miami. Now, if that does happen, we'll talk about it. But since it's a rumor, we're not going to talk about it. So that's out of the way. But even more trades this week. We're going to get into that. The fantasy impact of Tyreek Hill, big one, and Matt Ryan. There's an article on NFL.com that gives their perspective on it. I'm going to give my perspective on their perspective, and then rate where all the people that are involved in the trade, their fantasy value going forward, going into next year. Free agent pickups. We're going to update the free agent pickups. We're going to go through just the offensive players. I do a special show before the season on defense. Defense, they put up, once in a while, hey, a defense will score a touchdown or two or return something, and he gets some points out of that, and that helps. But how many times a year does that happen? Outside of Dallas last year, who had a bunch, the last couple of games of the year, they play, they must have had 5 or 6 defensive touchdowns last year, or special teams. They really hit it out of the park last year. But that doesn't happen every year. So defenses, that's why, a long, drawn-out way of saying I don't talk about defenses or defensive players impacting fantasy football and free agency at least. When the season comes around, like I said, we'll look at them. We'll look at them all. As a matter of fact, I do a special show on kickers and defenses. So we're going to talk about free agent pickups that are going to affect the offenses and your fantasy football teams. We're going to go through all the teams. Basically, the guys with the big numbers next to them and the dollar signs, those are the guys we're going to look at. There's a couple guys that are a little smaller numbers, and they could merit some consideration. But a lot of those things are, people have to get hurt for them to be involved, things like that. So, but we'll talk about it. That's why we're here. It's called the Talk Man Show. Talk Man gonna talk. So we're talking about that. Draft moves, since we got these trades, that opens up differences, different mock draft, scenarios now. And this is kind of a running gag now. This week, this week we're doing draft strategies. Yeah, sure we are. This week we'll do it. So, that's the rundown of the show. That's the rundown of the show this week. And we're going to get started right now. But first, before we get started, I want to know, everyone knows you can find my show and dozens of other shows right here at 12 Ounce Sports. Did you know there's a ton of live sports on the network as well? Watch live football, baseball, hockey, lacrosse, racing, basketball, and more right here on 12 Ounce Sports. Also, check us out on Zingo TV. I keep telling you, Zingo TV, that's where we're at. That's where I'm at Saturday. Channel 761, that's Zingo TV. That's 12 Ounce Sports on Zingo TV. So quench your sports thirst right there. If you have like one of the shakes, I need my 12 Ounce Sports. Well, if you're on Amazon and you go, who doesn't shop on Amazon? Besides me. If you're shopping on Amazon, you can do that and help 12 Ounce Sports out at the same time. Now you can go on Amazon and use the heading. If you're heading online, use 12ouncesportsnetwork.com/Amazon. And get shopping when you do it. It comes up across the crawler down at the bottom. That's 12ouncesportsnetwork.com/Amazon. Yeah. If you don't do it, I'll come get it. I'm like this big. I'm coming in. Alright, so enough with the noises. So, let's get into what I want to talk about. So this is the article. These guys. But I do want to talk about this trade. There's a lot. This trade is very interesting, and I usually just talk about the fantasy impact. But I'm seeing something, and I've been seeing it for the last couple of years. And before we get into this, before we talk about the actual trade itself and the winners and losers of the trade, because I don't agree with that. We're seeing these teams that are willing to go all out for players. Now, 2 years ago, they picked up, Tom Brady was picked up as a quarterback, and he was a free agent. He went there. He wasn't traded. So they picked him up. They win the Super Bowl. Oh, okay. So we can go out and pick up a quarterback if we have everything else set up and go win a Super Bowl. Hey, this has been done before. Crappy teams get a quarterback, whether it be through the draft, and you give him a year or two to blossom and he makes it, or you go out and pick up a guy. Brady went out and got him, win the Super Bowl. The Rams said, you know what? We've been doing this a couple years. We're going to do that for the quarterback. This is the evolution of that. We're just going to go out and get a quarterback. We have everything else. We've given away everything else to get put all these guys together. But we got this guy back there just So let's go out and get a quarterback that we can get. That'll push us over the top. And it worked. When I got Matt Stafford, Gave up a bunch of draft picks. Got a Super Bowl out of it. We're good to go. But this seems like an offshoot of that. I don't agree with it. I mean, we've also seen, if you really want to, the Russell Wilson thing, that's kind of the same thing that we're looking at here. Here's about, but we're also going to give you stuff and 5 picks, and 2 of them are first rounders. One's a number 9 pick, and this is going to make us, and this is going to get us over the top. Now, the difference here was the Rams are a playoff team. These guys are not, but we're going to go with that anyway. We want a top flight quarterback, and I get it. Teams want top flight quarterbacks. When a top flight quarterback says, I'm getting a little tired of this place. Ooh, everybody gets up. Me. Come here. So they went out and got him. But the difference between that situation and the Rams is that they were already a playoff team. They already made the Super Bowl a couple years ago. This is to put them over the top when they've been in the middle. You still, it's, and you gave up a lot. You gave up multiple first round picks and multiple second round picks, and your quarterback and your good tight end, blah blah blah. So you're seeing this being, moving into the way teams do business. And I mean, the Rams aren't going to have a first round pick until the year 3000. But they got a Super Bowl out of it. And Deshaun Watson as well. Now the Browns, they're taking a big shot with this guy. You're giving this guy all this money, and you gave up 3 first-round picks. Now, I get it. They were another team that played well a couple years ago. They had pieces in place. They got a good defense. They have a top-notch running game. They could use wide receivers. But they got but they went out and got Amari Cooper, and they went out and got Deshaun Watson. So you see where this is going. My issue is when you start doing that, for wide receivers, all right, you're going a step too far here. What makes you think that you're a wide receiver away? Everybody's a quarterback away, not a wide receiver away. Very hard to be a wide receiver away, like the Eagles were in the mid-2000s. So, it's, in my opinion, it's too much for a wide receiver. I can see doing it for a quarterback, but not for a wide receiver. So, immediately, I don't like this. And you give up your number 1 pick, you give up your number 2 pick, you give up your number 4 pick, and you give up a 4 and a 6 next year. So, you give up 5 picks out of the next 14 that you have. I mean, they might have more. I know they made a lot of trades before. To go get a wide receiver. Now, these guys call it a really good trade for both of them. They give Kansas City. I would switch that around, and I wouldn't give the Miami Dolphins anywhere close to a B. Let's see what they say. Gave up a bundle, but Tyler Hill is the rare player who entirely changes how a defense must respond. A huge winner here is Jalen Waddell, the talented second-year pro who no longer must deal with the number 1 cover man. Cedric Wilson's also in the midst. Devontae Parker is also there. So they have some wide receivers. Miami's pranks, Hill's skills translate entirely to South Beach. Boom! Right there. Right there. Handing him an enormous and we're going to give you $1 zillion. We hope you do the same thing over there. Why? You're not in the same situation. What makes you think he's going to do the same thing over here? You're not in the same situation. You get a different quarterback, you get a different offensive philosophy, you have different players. Packed to $72 million in guarantees. The Dolphins are largely handed away their 2022 draft, but that number 29 overall pick vibes close to a second rounder. I trust first-year coach Mike McDaniel to correctly unleash Hill, but Miami's Kyle Shanahan-inspired playbook has always revolved around heavy work on the ground. Either way, the Heat's turned up all the way on to the third-year starter. We've got plenty of weapons. The move changed how we look at the Chiefs. The trio of Hill, Kelsey, and Mahomes is not there anymore. You got Kelsey and Mahomes. Juju's in there. DeMarcus Robinson's in there. Byron Pringle's in there. And they also picked up Marquez Valdez-Scantling. So that's the way they get it. So here's my opinion. The Chiefs get, I'll give them, give him a B plus. You get rid of a guy, you're kind of changing things around, but you do have guys there. He's one guy. And the Miami Dolphins get like C minus or C. If you're grading like that, I just don't see giving up that much for a wide receiver. A wide receiver that you're not getting Tyreek Hill from Kansas City. You're getting something else. You're getting Tyreek Hill, but not, there's no Patrick Mahomes there. I mean, let's talk about fantasy. So that's my opinion on this. I don't like it, and I think Miami gave way too much. In terms of fantasy, I don't see an overall big jump in Tyreek Hill's addition to the Miami Dolphins. I see the whole offense. The offense as a whole gets a little bit of a boost. Everybody on offense gets a little bit of a boost. Not much. If you want to do it by round, maybe half a round maybe. Depends on who you're talking about. Especially the later guys. You can just grab them around 13. I'm talking about the Raheem Mosterts of the world. So, I mean, I think Jalen Waddell does get a little bit of a bump, having Tyreek Hill on the other side. But you're basing this on Tua making some kind of big jump. He's got, you added in this wide receiver, and now he's expected to. You got to put up 30 touchdowns at least, and you can't put up 30 touchdowns from like 21 picks. Not that I think he's going to do that, but you can't do that now. You can't go around losing games to these guys. You got all these weapons. They picked you with number 6 pick he went with. This is not great for Miami. I don't see this as a huge win for Miami. I see this as a bad move. They could, you could have done other things. You're not going to get that weapon, but all right, I'm kind of rambling on this, and I don't want to ramble, but it's just like what. So, in terms of where Tyreek Hill is going to be overvalued in the draft. When the draft thing comes out, he's going to be top five wide receiver probably. They're just going to take him from being 1 or 2 last year, drop him down to 5 or 6, mid first, 5 or 6, mid top 10. I just put Miami next to it and be done with it. I don't think that's the way it's going to work out. I think it's going to. I don't think he's going to have a bad year, and he's going to make big plays. I just don't see the offense being the same. And let's not forget, Tua gets hurt once in a while, and so does Tyreek Hill. Not a lot, but they do. A couple years ago, he had I think he played like 9 games and walked out of 2 of them. It was a fucking joke. So this is not a great pick pickup for the Miami Dolphins. On the other hand, with the Chiefs, this does raise some questions. These are the Dolphins. This is the offense for the Dolphins. They spent a ton of money in free agency. They just went out and got guys. Miami. They got another running back. Picked up 2 guys from the Cowboys. Teron Armstead. They want a tight end. They want a left tackle. They got him. Paid him $1 zillion. Brought in Teddy Bridgewater, which is a little bit of an upgrade from Jacoby Brissett, but not much. Raheem Mostert, bringing him in. A lot of the guys, he's familiar with the system they're going to put in. So why not bring him in? And when he plays, he's good. He could be Miami's #1 running back this year. And Trent Sherfield, who's not going to make, I don't think he's going anywhere. He's a wide receiver, though. Played in the San Fran system. So they went out and picked up a bunch of guys. They pretty much overhauled this whole team, or at least some of the major players, running back, wide receiver, and offensive lineman. And, I don't see one defensive player. The defense is fine, in their opinion, I guess. So, go back to the beginning. So, that's my opinion. I think he's going to be overvalued. He's probably going to be picked in the second round. I would probably go with him in late second, maybe third. That's probably where I'd go. I don't think he's going to last much longer than that. But I'd go with Jalen Waddell before I went with Tyreek Hill. So that's what I think of that whole deal. We're 20 minutes in already. I'm just yapping. Let's do KC. KC, in terms of Kansas City, Travis Kelce's value goes up. I think Patrick Mahomes, he's going to stay kind of around the same thing. He might, throw a couple less touchdowns, but I think he's going to stay, probably 30 touchdowns, maybe high 20s if he misses a game or two. But I still think he's going to be in the low 30s in terms of touchdowns. 4,000 yards. And the main issue is I think he might start off the season a little slow, getting into how we're going to play without Hill. But I think if he figures it out. The issue here is, and this is what I want to know. Anyone wants to leave a comment down below, please do. Here's your options. Justin Watson. This is updated. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Juju, Matthew Sexton, Colin Powell's on the team, Gary Jennings, McCall Hardman, Josh Gordon, Doris Fountain, Chris Finke. I never heard of any of these guys. Corey Coleman got another shot. There's a lot of guys that got wide receiver, and they're probably going to draft one. Probably early, too, because they got this extra pick. So you got, that's like 10 wide receivers right there. One of those guys is going to become Mahomes' favorite and going to get you a lot of fancy points. Find that guy. Who's that guy? Who's that guy in there? That's the question. You find that out. You hit that nail on the head. You got a good season ahead of you if you can make everything else work. So that's what I think. And we're only 23 minutes in. So moving right along. Also, getting back to this. Got the PSAs. Football's over. I know. We're all very sad. But if you still want to get in on the action, head over to mybookie.ag and use the promo code 12OutSports. That's 12OZ Sports, all caps, no spaces. When signing up for the deposit bonus, first time users only, that's mybookie.ag, promo code 12OutSports, 12OZ Sports, all caps, no spaces. Always gamble responsibly. Gotta be responsible. Also, like I tell you every week, Zingo TV, zingotv.com. Check us out there. It's free. Please use the promo code 12ounce, 12OZ. When you're on Zingo TV, it helps us out, it helps them out, it's going to help you out. It really helps us out. 12 Ounce Sports is channel 761 plus. They have other actual sports channels, music channels, and a bunch of other stuff. You got to go there, find out, see what you like. Spend as much time as you want going through the channels. Look at what we got. Please go and sign up for the free. It's free to sign up and use the promo code 12ounce, 12OZ. That's zingotv.com. Now, back to trades. What are we doing? Did I go the wrong way? Did I go the wrong way? I went the other way? Did I go the other way? Yeah, here we go. So, the other trade we saw this week was, all right, Colts, we got to get a quarterback again. So, fine. We'll bring in Matt Ryan, and the Falcons can have a third-round pick for him. Let's see what they have to say. The Colts filled their quarterback void with the top remaining option at a palatable price. Third-round pick, yeah, he makes a good point there. Ryan can still wing the ball and rise in Indy as a sharp upgrade from the ditched Carson Wentz, with Atlanta absorbing Ryan's outrageous $40.5 million dead cap hit. The Colts will pay the new starter a doable $24.7 million this season and $29.2 million next year. Atlanta hit a wall with Matty Ice after last week's failed pursuit of Watson. But it was a high time for a change. It sure was. It's been a high time for a change over the last couple of years, and I'll show you. The roster is a ghost town, having decided against addressing the quarterback position. And last year's draft, the Falcons are now strong candidates to add a rookie alongside the recently acquired Marcus Mariota. I thought I turned that on. The Falcons are now strong. The recently acquired Marcus Mariota. Second-year coach Arthur Smith can't be thrilled with any of this. No, he cannot. Frank Reich, though, as a player in Ryan who can maximize the talent around him and keep defenses honest after they sold out last season to stop workhorse running back Jonathan Taylor. There's going to be more of that this year. What do you think we're going to put it all on Matty Ice's 35-year-old arm or however old he is? I don't think so. Expect more Jonathan Taylor. More help is needed at the wideout behind Michael Pittman Jr. The offensive line has lost bodies to retirement and free agency. Holes exist, but Ryan puts Indy right back in playoff contention. So, Colts get Matt Ryan. I guess I wouldn't give it a B plus. I'd probably give it like a B because they tried to get Watson, didn't. The market kind of dried up pretty quick, and then you're left with the Baker Mayfields of the world, who I still don't think is signed yet. Marcus Mariota's, who went to Atlanta. Jimmy G, who's still Jimmy G'ing it up in San Fran. So they went out, made a move, got this guy. Okay, that's all. Okay. I guess they didn't feel. I mean, they don't. If they had a first round pick this year, they probably wouldn't be doing that. But if they had a first round pick this year, they wouldn't have gotten Carson Wentz last year. So it kind of makes sense when you think about it, when you go through your head that way. So Matt Ryan's there. He's with the Colts now. Now, here's Matt Ryan for you. Now, the good thing about Matt Ryan, and I say it about especially the quarterback position, 16, he missed 2 games there. 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16. He missed a game in 2019, 16, and 17. The guy doesn't get hurt. Gotta like that. So you bring him in and you know he's going to play. The issue is, how well is he going to play? Now, okay, they got rid of Carson Wentz last year. He threw, I think it was 20. Carson Wentz. If I'm right, yeah, he threw 27-7 last year. So, okay, 27-7. Matt Ryan, here's his career. 16, 20, I mean, in terms of touchdowns, which is what you want. You want a guy throwing touchdowns, keeping the defense honest. 28, 29, 32, 26, 28 in 2014. 2014, he was, up to this point, all right, you're in the high 20s for the most part. He was young. 2014, he was what? In his late 20s then. Then 2015 comes along. Now you take out the 2 outliers, and they are outliers. They're outliers for the whole. He's only thrown over 30 touchdowns 3 times. 2012 with 32. 2016 when they went to the Super Bowl, 38. And again in 2018 with 35. Those are the outliers in 14 years. 11 of them through 20. Over 20 for 13 of them? Wait. For 10 of them and under 20 in one of them. It's rookie year, which doesn't really count. So this is what we're looking at now. We're looking at this. 20, 26, 26, 20, 21. We're looking at somewhere in that range. Now, he had Julio Jones all that time, most of that time. He started out with Roddy White that evolved into Julio Jones, and then over the last couple of years, you've seen Calvin Ridley take over. So it's not like he's been doing it on his own. He had a wide receiver there that was good, and that's what he got out of it. 26 touchdowns, somewhere in, over the last, since 2015, we're looking at high 20s, only boosted by these 38 and 35s in 2016, 2018. So you're looking more at the 26s and the 20s. So a guy throwing for the mid-20s in terms of touchdowns, that's not great. Now you got a workhorse running back in the backfield that's going to help. But with this addition, I don't think this makes him any kind of starting quarterback. Not for the Colts, for your fantasy football team is what I'm talking about. They don't have anything great in terms of wide receivers there. They got Michael Pittman Jr., who I like. You got Jonathan Taylor out of the backfield. You've got Nyheim Hines. But I don't see much else there. I do want to look at. Let's see what Indy's done. They lost a guard and they lost a wide receiver. Eric Fisher has not been re-signed. Davenport, Chris Reed, some offensive linemen have not been re-signed, and they already lost one of their offensive linemen. You've still got Kelly and Nelson, and Eric Fisher. We don't know if he's coming back yet. So they've still got talent on the offensive line, but it's not the offensive line of 2 years ago. So I think the offensive line at least as good, if not better, than the Falcons. So you're getting here. You don't have that much outside of Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman Jr. You don't have much here. Kiki QT, Paris Campbell, who I liked, doesn't seem to be working out well. So it's a little funny, but I don't see him as a fantasy option. Maybe he helps the Colts, but I'll tell you the truth, I think the Colts are going to be in the same position as they were this year. Maybe they win that extra game now. But Matt Ryan's going down. He's trending downward. And they think that, maybe he gets a little bit of a bump back up. But it's only going to be, in my opinion, probably in the mid-20s in terms of touchdowns. Probably throw for 4,000 yards because everybody throws for 4,000 yards now. So I don't see him as a viable option to quarterback in terms of your fantasy team. Maybe a backup. In that case, you're looking at, teens maybe 10, around 10, 11. Somewhere around there. If you really think, Jonathan Taylor will help. He's running the ball, dude. So, but the move itself, I see why they had to do it. In terms of the Falcons, I do see some, I see one guy benefiting from this. And it's, I see two guys benefiting from this. Number one, Kyle Pitts is going to get, since Calvin Ridley made a $5 bet, I don't know how much he bet, made a $5 bet on a game where every fucking commercial during football is, hey, bet. Hey, I'm going to make a bet. You can't make a bet. So, all right. And they're going to take a whole year's worth of salary from him. And, derail the early part of his career because he went and did what the commercials are telling him. But I'm not going to get into that. Let's just see what we got in front of us. All we got in front of us basically is Kyle Pitts. That's it. That's all you got. They did bring in Marcus Mariota, who I think is going to start the season, but I have a very, very, very good feeling. I think I have it over here. That pick 8 is going to, if they don't go with Malik Willis, they're going to go with Kenny Pickett. And I think I think this is kind of accurate. Because they always say, oh, well, the quarterbacks, these quarterbacks aren't that great. If there's a quarterback out there, top quarterback is always going in top 10. Somebody will jump up to get a quarterback, whether they're graded high or not. And I don't know how good these guys are. I'm not a big college guy. But these are the two guys that are the top quarterbacks. So, they're both of them in the top 10. Boom, boom. When 2 weeks ago, it was Well, one of them might get picked 15th. We might pick one of these guys, but now the reshuffling is going around. All the big names have either been traded or re-signed. Now teams, okay, this is when we got a quarterback. We don't have a crappy quarterback, so now we have to go and pick up a guy. Now there's only 2 out there, and 2 quarterback needy franchises outside of this one right here. It looks like we might be going with Drew Lock, which will get you right back to the 9th pick next year. Good luck with that. So you're probably going to get a quarterback out of this in the first round for Atlanta. So you have 2 quarterbacks, one being groomed and one playing. The one playing, which I think is going to start to be Marcus Mariota, you got one guy on the team to throw the ball to. So that guy's going to get a zillion targets. When he gets shuffled across, because I think he's another guy kind of can get a little banged up here and there. All right, we're going to try out Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett, either one. Then it turns into, okay, well, again, I've only got one guy here, and he's the biggest guy on the field that I can throw to, so tight ends or quarterback, rookie quarterback specifically, they're best friends. So I see nothing but upside for Pitts. I'm considering putting him on the I like him list. I like that guy. He might get the blue Talkman's blue check mark, not Twitter's. So that's what I see. That's what I see out of the Matt Ryan trade. I think the Falcons made the best of a bad situation. They went after Deshaun Watson. We didn't get him. Okay, you still want to play? No, not now. Okay, now we got Marcus Mariota and Kyle Pitts and Cordell Patterson, who overvalued next year. Trust me on that. And yeah, exactly my point. So that's my opinion of the trade. That's what I think is going to benefit from it. And you can go take a piss.
Sports has a new home for betting. BetUS.com is the official place to place your bets and support 12-ounce sports. All you have to do is go to BetUS.com and type in the promo code 12OZE and you'll instantly get a deposit bonus. This is America's favorite sports book. And remember, always gamble responsibly.
Yo, cuz, welcome back. So we talked about the trades. Free agency's still going, but it's kind of winding down. But let's go through the teams real quick, see if there's anybody out there. We talked about some guys last week, and we talked about them again this week. There are some guys, and I already brought one up, Raheem Mostert, who can be a late-round pick that could turn things, could... I don't say save you. Hope you don't need saving next year, but could be a good piece to have going into, all of a sudden this guy, he blows up. Watch out, Raheem Mostert. I know he burned you. He burned me. But they're playing the same offense. So anyway, Arizona, they went out and got Christian Kirk, Chase Edmonds. I only got the offensive players. Like I said, no defense. Christian Kirk left and Chase Edmonds left. They re-signed a bunch of guys, but these are just free agents. Where they went with the guys who left and didn't re-sign. And Yeah, that's the way it works. So Atlanta, they lost Russell Gage. Boy, they could have used Russell Gage before Calvin Ridley left and Matt Ryan left. Marcus Mariota did come in. He's still only 28 years old. Cordell Patterson re-signed. Not like I said, I'm not big on him doing what he did last year. He was a top 5 running back last year. That ain't gonna happen again. Hayden Hurst, he can go. He's gonna move into the spot C.J. Uzama had. They brought in Damian Williams, another running back, and some offensive linemen, which not bad. Elijah Wilkinson, Colby Gossett. Not that they're household names, but they're bodies that can help. Hopefully, and don't be surprised if they go with an offensive lineman early to help with the rookie quarterback. They're probably going to get. I don't think Cordell Patterson coming back is a big deal. And Damian Williams, again, he's 30 years old. Don't see that as a big deal. I got to be honest, a lot of the free agency signings are going to make a difference defense, but there are some guys here that could help. Picking up offensive linemen to help. They let one offensive lineman go, and they picked up and they re-signed Patrick Ricard. Okay, not much there. Trubisky's gone. Roger Saffold, that's big for the quarterback position. More. Well, I don't know how big he is. 34 years old. O.J. Howard. Okay. I kind of like the guy they got there now, but we'll see. Lost another offensive guard. Replaced him with Roger Saffold. Jameson Crowder got brought in. A little scat guy, a slot guy. Duke Johnson got brought in. He's the guy out of the backfield. They're bringing in guys who catch the ball. Greg Mance, don't know a lot about him. Matt Brady gone. And Tywan Jones is staying. There's nothing here that's going to make any kind of difference. Maybe O.J. Howard. If I can't remember that guy's name. That guy, I think he's another guy with initials for names. But O.J. Howard could make a difference. He might get drafted just because they throw the ball so much in Buffalo. But he's going to be a late round drafted because he's the guy behind. I can't believe I forgot his freaking name. I hate that. So I'd keep an eye on him, see how he's looking in preseason and mini camps, and go from there. If the other guy gets hurt, that's a good guy to have around. Now for Carolina's got they need help all across the board, so they started with helping out the offensive lineman, Austin Corbett. From the Rams, figure bringing a guy who just won a championship, bring him in here, trying to move some of that along. They're very frugal, these guys. They spent a little bit of money here. It's not like they have guys that cost a lot of money on their team. They stink. So, I'm all for, being conservative with the money, especially if there's nobody out there who fits your system and you don't want to go out and be the Miami Dolphins and spend $8 million. So there's nobody really here. Amir Abdullah he left anyway. Rashard Higgins, deep threat to replace. I don't know if he went in. I guess he didn't go in, but he's another deep threat guy. So nobody here really. Like I said, a lot of this goes to the defense, but just run through it real quick. The Bears are a mess. Leaving. All the guys left for big contracts somewhere else. But Lucas Patrick they brought in as an offensive lineman. Byron Pringle from Kansas City because the coach is gone, so I don't know why they're bringing Kansas City guys. Trevor Siemian coming in as another backup quarterback. Alex Barr, offensive lineman gone. Damian Williams, Elijah Wilkinson. Equinemius St. Brown is here. Yes, there's nobody really here that makes that much of a difference. It is hard to find offensive guys who are going to make a difference. May have one here, though. Brought an offensive lineman to help. You got to help him out. You got to help out that quarterback. Lost C.J. Uzama, but brought in Hayden Hurst. A little younger, too, this guy. Lyle Collins from Dallas got brought in immediately. Boom, boom, boom. Offensive lineman. Boom, boom, boom. In their 20s. So they'll be there till they're in their early 30s. And spent a little bit of money, but not much. This is very helpful for, I was going to say Carson Palmer, for Joe Burrow. So I think this actually helps, these pickups actually help Joe Burrow a lot. Not that he didn't have a good season last year, but now at least, okay, maybe he has an extra half second back there. That could be hitting Jamar Chase for a big one. Higgins, Boyd, any one of them. So Hayden Hurst got brought in, Brandon Allen got brought in, Mike Thomas got brought in, lost Fred Johnson, Freddie, but now they got him. And they picked him up from organizations that have decent offensive lines, Tampa Bay, Dallas, and New England. I like what they did for Joe Burrow here and the whole offense. I think these 3 picks are the best thing I've seen so far. We're only in Cincinnati. Shit, I gotta get this moving. The best thing I've seen so far for any fantasy player. Cleveland. Cleveland. Nobody here really. They lost a couple guys. Yeah, they brought in Jacoby Brissett. Nobody cares. Yeah, let's start moving through this. Keep you here all night. Dallas lost Cedric Wilson. Lost a bunch of guys. They brought in James Washington, who's a speed guy and young. But I don't think that's going to make a difference. It may, just because they traded away Amari Cooper, James Washington could move up the list. And they could get deep in that throwing in the wide receiver room of the Cowboys since Amari Cooper's gone. That's a lot of targets there. Denver made their splash with the quarterback, so there's nobody really in the. They grabbed 2 guards. That's about it. Detroit not making a big splash. They got DJ Shark. Green Bay again, not making a big splash. They re-signed Robert Tonyan, who's 28 years old. I thought he was way younger than that. Houston, they picked up a lot of guys, but went on the cheap. A.J. Canada, the 30-year-old guard, and Janovitz. They picked up a fullback, running back, Kyle Allen, Royce Freeman. Yeah, a bunch of secondary guys. Indy went out and got Matt Ryan. They lost Mark Lewinsky, which isn't going to help Matt Ryan much. And Jacksonville did do a little shopping. Christian Kirk, I talked about it last year. He's going to be overvalued just because they gave a lot of money. Doesn't mean he's going to get a lot of. He's going to have a lot of production because he's a speed guy. You know, I don't see him as a guy who's going to be the number 1 wide receiver over there. He might get a lot of targets, but I don't see him making a lot out of it. Zay Jones. I'm not too big on Zay Jones. I wanted to be, but I'm not. Evan Ingram, another guy. All these guys, potential, unmet potential. That's all they are. A bunch of these guys. That's all these guys are. All the wide receivers that they're going to try and help Trevor Lawrence out with. Kansas City. Marquez Valdez-Scalding, you're going to need that guy. Juju. Now, funny thing is, I think Juju is going to have a way bigger impact than Marquez Valdez-Scalding. Juju has, at least he has a year where, he had a couple years where he played well. Now, he was playing on the opposite side of Antonio Brown, but now he's playing on not so much on the opposite side, but he's secondary to Travis Kelce. Plus, you have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and you have McCole Hardman. So you've got guys that do different things, and they, trust me, Andy Reid will scheme his way to getting one of these guys into top 15, top 20 wide receiver range, and it could be Juju. I go Juju over Valdez-Scantling. I'm sorry, I'm scratching my foot. It itches. Vegas, I think they're another team that went a little bonkers with the money. Lost Zay Jones, lost Marcus Mariota, lost the fullback, but picked up Brandon Bolden, Mac Hollins, Alex Bars. Well, not that any of these guys are household names, but they're brought in to fill a role, and that's what he wants. That's what McDaniels wants to do there. So we'll see. I like the Brandon Bolden pick. That may be fantasy relevant going into next year. Brandon Bolden, watch out. The Chargers, Gerald Everett, and they brought a tight end, and they brought in a backup QB. Now, there's something else I do want to talk about. Let's keep going through it. The Rams got Allen Robinson, which that means I don't think they're going to bring in. I don't think they're bringing back OBJ unless they get him really, really cheap. And that's about it. Brandon Powell, who they got for free, obviously. Miami. Whew. All right, Miami. When I got top offensive lineman, Cedric Wilson, gave him a bunch of money, which could be impactful, but now Tyreek Hill's there. Another offensive lineman, you got picked up a guard, Chase Edmonds. They re-signed the tight end, brought in a fullback, Teddy Bridgewater, Raheem Mostert. Watch out for Raheem Mostert this year if the running back picture is as muddled as it was last year, and I have no reason to think that it wouldn't be, despite the fact they picked up Chase Edmonds. Watch out for Raheem Mostert. He's going to be on a lot of people's radars because of the coach being brought in and his relationship with the offense that he played in. So watch out for that. It may be a steal, and a really late steal. Actually, well, running backs, he's going to be like the third, fourth running back if he makes the team. I got to be honest. If he makes the team. So they just spent a bunch of money. That's the guy I'd look at, though, Raheem Mostert. Minnesota. They didn't do anything. New England made a splash last year. This year, Trent Brown, they brought on an offensive lineman. All the good teams bring an offensive lineman. They want to make sure they're right in the offensive lineman category. New Orleans re-signed James Winston, which is probably the biggest thing there. And that's it. That's all they did. New Orleans. Now the Giants brought in Mark Lewinsky, which is good. They can always use more offensive linemen here. Tyrod Taylor, who's a perpetual backup. John Feliciano, getting a little old, but he's okay. Matt Breida to help run the ball, offensive guard, and running the ball. That's all they brought in. Okay, we know where they're going there. I don't see much here that's going to help. Maybe the offensive lineman, but I don't think Daniel Jones is very good. I think this is last year there anyway, so expect the same out of them. I don't see much impact from the free agent market. It's hard to pick up free agents without overpaying, and even then, you're taking a shot. Guard, tight end. You know where they're going here at the Jets. They got some guys there on the offense that could be good. We got to see what happens. What happens this year? But it looks like they're moving steady. I don't see anything here that's going to be a big deal. CJ Uzama, I wouldn't go drafting him. The quarterback there has a lot to go. A lot of ways to go. Philly brought in, they re-signed Boston Scott, brought in Zach Pascal. I don't think either of those guys are going to make a big difference. Zach Pascal probably get drafted in this area because that's the way they are around here. Anybody gets picked up, oh, this guy's going to be great. He's going to make them 14-2, 14-3 again. Pittsburgh, working the offensive line, brought in Mitch Trubisky. If worse comes to worse, they're going to go with Mitch Trubisky. And brought in a wide receiver and a couple of wide receivers. Oh wait, they lost a bunch. They lost all their wide receivers, and they brought in one that I've never heard of, Gunner. I forget who he played for. I heard of him. San Fran, they just let everybody go, basically. They re-signed Jeff Wilson, re-signed the running back. Everybody else can go. See ya. Which is interesting. Again, Seattle brought back Rashad Penny. He had a good year last year at the end of the year. Put up a lot of yards. Keep an eye on Rashad Penny. That might be a big move next year. With we don't know what's going on with Chris Carson, who's getting old. They lost an offensive lineman. They brought in Russell Gage. Brought back Leonard Fournette. Lost O.J. Howard. Bing, bang, boom. Yeah, it's definitely hard to pick up a good free agent that's going to make a big difference in your offense or your fantasy team. Roger Saffold, blah, 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 blah. They brought in Austin Hooper, who I kind of liked. They could use a good tight end over there. Trent Cannon, who moved around a little bit last year. And none of these guys are really going to make a big difference on your fantasy team. Austin Hooper, though, keep an eye on him. And Washington lost an offensive lineman, probably one of their better ones, but brought back an offensive lineman from Jacksonville. Basically, they traded offensive lineman, a really good one for one that's, we'll see what happens. Re-signed another offensive lineman. J.D. McKissick's back. Cam Sims didn't play. Wasn't great. And that's about it. So that's all of the teams. Not much there in terms of free agents. It's going to make a difference in your fantasy team. Like I said, a lot of the fantasy guys go to a lot of the free agent fantasy. A lot of the free agent impact goes on the defensive side of the ball. Good offensive players get traded. They don't get picked up. They don't get let go. But first, before we do that, tune in to the AM Drive on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern as they deliver the best in sports talk and pop culture. Start your morning, hosted by Michael Carvallis and Aaron Crouch. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. And as always, I got a plug. Biscotti Gourmet offers a new take on an old Italian tradition of soft-baked mini biscotti. Many delightful flavors. Lemon's my favorite. Go to BiscottiGourmet.com. You can see it down below. You can see it on the screen right there. You can see it everywhere. Use the promo code TALKMAN, TALKMAN, for 20% off your order. Any flavor is a wonderful compliment with coffee in the morning or as a guilty pleasure treat. So we're just about done with the show. I did not really get a chance to get to the draft. I talked about it a little bit. There's some movement there with the quarterbacks. Some teams made traded away their offense. The teams that traded away their wide receivers are probably going to have to pick them up with the picks they got. But next week I'm going to have a surprise for you. It's the reason I haven't been putting anything up on my YouTube channel. So see you next